Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania.
Where we discuss history and hauntings.
Today we're wrapping up season 3.
Five.
5.
Say it again.
Today we're wrapping up season 5.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Erica.
I'm David. Very good, Erica. You know who you are.
Let's get into it. Okay, so I do always love these episodes because, we have our personality shine through in a normal episode, but these season wraps are very much so just relaxed chit-chatting. And
Yeah.
something that's interesting to me is I don't know if people know or think that we were all really good friends before we started our podcast, but we all are very good friends.
Oh, yeah. I guess you're right. I don't know that we've ever talked about that. But yeah, we knew each other for what, like 5 years
Yeah, yeah.
before?
I know. I think about that. It's been like 7 years
I
that we've
know.
been friends. That's crazy. But yeah, so for everybody listening that's like, oh my gosh, wow, they're like just chatting and stuff. Like sometimes we get feedback like, very interesting, hosts chat a lot. I'm like, yeah, we're like, what? I'm married to one of you and the other one of you is one of my best friends. Like, yes, we chat.
Yeah, I mean, what is the upper limit on years of friendship before you're like stuck?
It's
Like
7.
it's 7? Oh, it's
Oh, so we hit it.
yep.
Yeah, it was this February. It was 7 years this February, I think. So yeah, now season 5, not season 3, David. I actually thought you were playing an April Fool's joke when you said that because we're recording this on April Fool's Day. But it is the third year almost of Pip,
That's what I meant.
but season 5.
I'm glad that you saw through my April Fool's joke and knew I meant the third year of recording 5 seasons.
I did.
Yeah.
So, what was your guys' favorite location this season? And normally I have written up answers, but you guys always tell me it's so unfair that I do that. So I didn't this time.
No, it's fine. You can just keep making us look terrible every time because it's like I
I
have all these rehearsed answers, and then you two just walk into the minefield of my questions.
Yes.
I don't know. I think for me it has to be the Wildwood Sanatorium because that
Yeah.
investigation was really cool.
Yeah, I'm like trying to be like not the bandwagon follower, but that's absolutely my first pick too. And for that reason, I'm gonna go with Crested Sanatorium.
I think, yeah, it has to be Wildwood. That was an amazing investigation. And I'm honestly convinced we're never going to have as successful an investigation as that ever again. Because it was just so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yes. It was, I know we mentioned this in the episode too, but it was like your dad, Sarah, summed it up of like, if I wasn't here and watched this video, like I would not believe the video. Like I would think that they tampered with it. And I agree
Exactly.
with that. Like it was so crazy. But yeah, I feel like, I was talking to someone recently who we were talking about like games that would be fun in real life, and they had mentioned Phasmophobia. And I was like, real. It is. It's
Yeah.
so fun. Like it's such a good time because I just think you get closer to the people that you're doing it with for
Mhm.
sure because that is like quite an experience. And also you just it almost is like comforting I mean I recognize that some locations it's not this way, but it almost feels comforting to like know that there is life after life.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I just think it was so amazing. And I know we also this season, we started our season opener with Grand Midway Hotel, and we went there with our friends at Haunted US to investigate. And it was interesting. I mean, but it was a standard run-of-the-mill paranormal investigation, I'd say. We also had Vickery this season, which we got to investigate, but for both of those, we had like some happenings, which was certainly interesting. And I should note at Vickery, we were with our friends at Crips and Corks, and those were interesting investigations, but Wildwood was just mind-blowing. I just don't think you can top it.
it was just on a different level. It's not like those others investigations were bad, right? They were just
Not,
not, yeah, not as active.
yeah. Yeah, so I guess we all have the same. That makes it for much less interesting discussion. But if you are listening
Well,
to this rap and you haven't listened to the Wildwood episode, go check it out. It is amazing. I think the place that or not place, but the episode that was the most shocking to me was the Philadelphia poison ring because I had no idea that that had happened in Philadelphia, and I feel like you never hear about it.
No.
No, and I kind of really liked the true crime aspect of that one. That was kind of cool to get into, because that was, of course, historical, but it was just kind of cool to get into like a crime
Hmm.
story.
Yeah, we had a lot of true crime this season, which is kind of a bit of a deviation because we also had Erie Axe Hollow and we also had the Blue Ball Inn. So those
The
were,
cow.
I know,
The cow.
the cow bone marrow.
I
Uh,
had so much fun editing that episode. I can't even tell you guys how long it took me to get through the laughing bits because I just kept cracking up as I was listening to the raw footage.
That was a good episode. That was a really interesting one. Um, Prissy is not to be messed with. And so that's another season question that I always have. If you had to meet one of the ghosts of the season, who would it be? It might be Prissy for me.
I have an answer, but it's gonna be like very like, okay, come on, we get it.
Who? The doctors at Wildwood.
No, little boy from Wildwood.
Mm.
That's right. Come up with a better answer, Erica. Go ahead.
I can't. No, I think, do you remember I totally forget her name. The woman from Midway Hotel who was hit with shrapnel
Oh,
from
What is her
the piece
name?
of firework.
Yeah, what is her name?
Um,
Gosh, I want to say Mary, but I feel like that's not
I
right.
I think M too though.
Martha.
Martha. Yes, I would really like to have tea with Martha.
That's
Um,
true.
yeah, she
she
was
bring
really
a
cool.
lot of interesting viewpoints and life experiences, I bet.
Yeah, I think Martha would be interesting too. I mean, there's a lot of really interesting like characters. The one that I definitely don't want to run into is Jeffrey from Hillview Manor because that's cursed.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't want that. I recognize I'm gonna die, but I don't want to know when.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you weren't on that episode, but it's a curse where if you see this one spirit, you die shortly after.
Oh, interesting. That's not the same as the mirror either with the getting married.
Yeah, that was at Arcadia
There
University.
we go.
Yeah. That's not a curse, but it is like a premonition type thing. That's a good
Right.
point. So the premise is if you are dancing with someone in the mirror room at Arcadia University and you look in the mirror and you see the couple that used to own the castle versus yourselves, you're going to marry the person. That's like the premonition aspect.
Yeah, but the whole premonition aspect of that made me like kind of like, I don't know about that. Didn't they hate each other?
Yeah.
So like seeing them, they're like, yeah, you're about to be us. It's kind of how I think that like you go get married.
I was gonna say the fact that we were talking about curses and he brought that one up is just like David's real thoughts on marriage comes out in the season 5 wrap.
I know. It's like, and then season 6, David and Sarah were never on an episode together. No, but I mean, it is a fair point. It is kind of cursy if you think about the fact that they were unhappy.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you're about to be doomed.
The way that it was spun, if I remember correctly on the episode, was like it's a positive thing. I'm like,
Mhm.
but why? If those two people like really didn't like each other and they show up in the mirror, I don't read that as a good sign.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
perhaps through like the evidence of people who've seen them are like very happily married.
maybe.
Um,
Maybe the
see,
whole premonition thing stems from them projecting what they wanted their marriage to be onto people that they
Oh,
think would have a good
that's
marriage.
a hot
or like
take.
don't repeat our mistakes. We can see that YouTube won't.
Yeah. Like maybe
Yeah.
they were happy at one point. Yeah. That's true. Something interesting to me about this season is, we always try for paranormal in general. Obviously, ghosts are readily available in Pennsylvania, but we've had witches, we've had vampires, we've had cryptids, and this season we had not really any of those. Like there were no vampires,
Yeah.
I don't think any witches. I mean, we had some. deviations in our special feature where we talked about paranormal debates and we talked about like zombies and stuff, but no locations with vampires or witches. That's a goal for me to get back to finding more places like that in season 6, I think. I like the variety.
Mm. I found the number of universities we had this season very lacking.
It did feel, and so, when I make the schedule, I always try to go off of listener referrals and what people want to hear. There were so many universities referred to us. We have even more on our backlog.
Good, because we have Arcadia and
Immaculata, Bloomsburg. Let me see. Immaculata, Bloomsburg. That's 3. It can't only be 3. It felt like it was a million. Is it really only 3?
This
yeah,
season maybe, but
lacking.
It
last
was only 3.
Only three for lacking. Like we got the rookie numbers, got to bump them up. And,
yeah, but the
and
last season had what, like, I mean, the last 4 seasons we've done what, like six, seven?
Yeah, because we also had Slippery Rock, we had Pitt, we had Temple. Yeah, we've done a ton of universities.
Yeah.
we actually covered Duquesne's campus.
I don't think so. I looked into it when we went to that wedding there, and it said the church might be haunted, but believe it or not, the Catholic University of Duquesne does not lean into their hauntings.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So,
Not I.
yeah, what are your guys' goals for season 6?
So we were recently gifted some nice cameras. I am looking forward to setting that up and really overhauling the video audio experience.
Hmm.
I think my goal is a little niche. I okay, when I'm editing, right? I definitely am paying attention to the content, of course, because that's the nature of editing. But I don't really like absorb it. So when we get to the wrap episodes, I'm like, I don't even know like what we covered this season. I have to like go back and review. So I think I could do a better job season 6 of like really paying attention to the content so that I feel more confident with like what we've covered.
To be fair, this season we recorded really out of order. So that's really hard because
That's true.
season 4 wrapped in October, but by October, we were already recording a backlog.
Oh, right. I forgot that a lot of the episodes we recorded a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, for those listeners that might not know, we had a baby. Not all 3 of us, me and David.
Yeah, I'm currently not wearing a backpack, if that is what it looks like.
And so that's why we had pre-recorded some of the episodes because we wanted to make sure that we could adjust to being new parents and keep pushing out content. And one of my goals for next season as well is to make sure that we keep on doing investigations and stuff, especially because, you know, the 3 of our lives are only getting busier, not only the baby, but in general, we have other stuff going on. So I want to make sure that we're still hitting investigations. I really liked that we went on a lot of formal investigations this season. I'd love to keep that up.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, honestly. Because I just feel like I feel like since we started doing investigations, our theories have become a little more fleshed out. Like we're able to kind of talk about our thoughts on the meanings behind some of the hauntings more readily because we've had these experiences ourselves.
I agree.
Um, yeah, so I really like that aspect. I feel like the more that we do, the more that we'll kind of grow as I mean, of course, as paranormal investigators, but also as paranormal podcasters.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So I agree with you. I think our theories are more fleshed out, and I think just the way of thinking is interesting. Something I like about us is we're, I think, still amateur enough in our investigations that we have very novel ideas. We're not rigid. We're still open to everything. I guess amateur is not the wrong word, or not the right word. We're still, yeah, we're just not rigid with it. We're still flexible enough with investigations that we're open to multiple explanations and stuff like that. And we're open to it being nothing, which I think is very important. I think a lot of paranormal content in general is very focused on getting results, results, results. And we're not afraid to get on an episode and say that investigation sucked.
Yeah, agreed. Because I think that just sometimes is the nature of it. I do. I think like a prime example of this is when you compare like the negative energy spirit slash demon ghosts from horror movies to negative energy ghosts or spirits in real life. It's rarely ever an actual demon. We've talked about this on a few episodes last season specifically, but it's like it's just they're just human beings who went through a really tough time. And so sometimes that just doesn't lend itself to anything spectacular, but that's not a bad thing. Honestly, I think if we were going into these investigations and getting results and all of these events and everything else, it would be harder for me to actually believe in it and not think that it was just either like a coincidence or some natural phenomenon causing it to seem like there's a lot of paranormal activity.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have to have the kind of dud investigations to really appreciate a place like Wildwood, where there's so much happening and you can really have a good time. And I mean, a lot of people, I think, glamorize paranormal investigations because you see like the ghost hunt TV shows and stuff like that. I'm not specifically talking about ghost hunt, I'm talking about ghost hunting TV shows where they only play the highlight reels. And a lot of it is sitting in the dark waiting for something to happen.
Yes, in an extremely cold bathhouse basement.
Yes. Where you feel kind of scared in general based on the surroundings.
Yes.
Because a lot of these places are not renovated as well. So that's another
Right.
aspect. My big goal for season 6, and I know David just left, but he's gonna listen to this and hear it, is to get to Gettysburg. I love Gettysburg so much. I haven't visited it since I was a little girl. I want to go back because I love history. So that's a big goal. Maybe we take a day trip or something. It's 3.5 hours from Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, it's like short enough that we could take a day trip, but it seems like a lot of, I mean, that's 6 hours technically like
yeah,
driving, so it's a lot. But, if we left early enough, then we could definitely
yeah.
do it in a day. But yeah, I agree. I really would like to see the Jenny Wade house again because I think that story is so incredible, and I remember being in awe of it and of her when I was a kid
Mhm.
visiting. And then just getting to hit all of the interesting spots that we've talked about. Specifically, too, because the three of us have now, and especially you, have done the historical research, and that makes things so much more meaningful when you know like what's occurred there.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's a good goal. I mean, our seasons are 6 month long, so we have 6 months from I think May to do this. We can do it. We can do it this
Yeah. Yeah.
and it would be so fun. And we could even like do lives and stuff because I also want to engage more with our audience. I really love that people are referring locations to us. That's why we try to prioritize them. But I want even more engagement because people are interested. And you find some of the coolest little haunts based on listener referral. And we were even able to investigate like Vickery Mansion was a listener referral, and we were able to go there with Crips and Corks and investigate it. So
Yeah.
it's very cool when people refer stuff to us. Some of them don't have quite enough content for an episode, but I look into every single thing that people refer. So if you're a listener, you can social media reach out to us. You can email us paranormal@pennsylvania@gmail.com. We read every single thing that people send us.
Yeah, I do think another one of my goals is to get back into like making TikToks because the past couple of months have been so crazy for all of us that yeah, I think it would be good to start making TikToks again from the episodes
Mhm.
because I really enjoy doing that and it just like it stopped happening season 5. So yeah, I'm like excited to get back into that too. I agree. I think like interacting with the audience even more and getting the short form content is like such a good goal to have because then we're just like able to connect with people even more than just the episodes.
I agree. And again, we read every single thing that people send us or comment. Like nothing goes unread. I try to like every single comment that we get on TikTok or anything to show people that I am reading it. But a big thing that happens is people do find us from episode clips or that short form content, and then they love the podcast. So I completely agree. I think it increases the reach, but it also is a cool way to interact with people because, I mean, life is busy for everyone. So it's much easier to watch a minute long clip on TikTok and still get some of the history and haunts than listen to a 25-minute episode. And that's fine. I know however people want to interact with us is fine, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But I'm very excited for season 6. We already have some exciting stuff scheduled. We're interviewing an author of haunted books. So that is going to be really, really interesting to talk about. And he specifically wrote a book on the county where I spent a decent portion of my childhood. So I'm really excited to talk to him. And yeah, definitely, I'm also excited for more collabs next season. We were kind of limited this season because we filmed so far in advance so that we could have maternity leave. But I'd love to keep working with more people. You know, we talked to Haley this season at Opening the Door, like I said, Crips and Corks, Haunted US, Horror Hour with the Hannahs, but I think that's it. I think it's only those four that we collabed with.
Yes, I think so too. I think it was I remember kind of halfway through the season being like, "Oh yeah, wow, we really like have had so many episodes planned out for so long that the last collab was towards the beginning of the season." But I really enjoyed opening the door. That podcast and that collab was probably one of my favorites that we've done. That was such an I wasn't even on it. That was just like such an interesting episode and an interesting concept.
Yeah, Haley is really interesting, and I love her podcast. It's just interesting to talk to mediums and how people interact with the spirit world. And everybody is so different, as she said, every medium's different. So it was really cool to hear her techniques. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I had for the season wrap. Any final thoughts on your end?
No, no, I'm just excited for season 6. I'm gonna start making the logo probably in the next couple of weeks, so I'm pumped.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, we need a whole new logo. It just, this season flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, well, David isn't here to sign off and say goodbye, but I will say goodbye on his behalf. And thank you, everyone who's been listening. You know, it's getting bigger and bigger, and we really appreciate every single person that listened every week. When we had 10 listeners, we appreciated everyone. And now that we're bigger, we appreciate every single listener. It just blows my mind every week when I look at everybody that cares about it. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you because we try to put effort into making good content. So, yeah, tune in for season 6. Lots of exciting things to come.